action. Welcome everyone. Sitting in front of me here is Simon. He took down the mocks and the whole ProQuest this ProQuest season on Prism. Simon is here to share his expertise with you guys. He's going to go through the deck and the changes that he would make to it. So Simon, do you have anything to say before we begin?
Yeah, shout out to all the guys at Mox.
Oh, thank you.
It's an insanely competitive armory. It helped me get a lot better at the game. I was getting my ass beat for a long time, and yeah, it forced me to get better. So yeah, shout out to all the Mox players.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, cool. So I'll start off with the equipment.
Yeah, so it's basically the standard equipment package. It's minimum equipment. I don't think you need anything more than this because slots in the deck are a bit tight. Mm-hmm. So Halo, probably one of the best cards in Prism. It turns your deck into basically a toolbox. It's yeah, it's insane. Card's insane. Love it. Cool. I'm on a switchboard, so Empyrean Rapture and Light of Soul, Rapture for Herald Beats and Vestige for Auras. The two gloves, Calming Gesture and Dreamweavers, Calming Gesture for AB or into Flick decks, mm-hmm. and Dreamweavers into pretty much everything else. And then Footsteps. Okay. I was playing Silent Stilettos, I think that's what they're called at one point, but you don't need the card. AB2 is whatever.
I hear Kano's a pretty good matchup for Prism.
Yeah, I don't need extra percentage points into Kano. That matchup is pretty free. So yeah, other things I've tried, like Goliath gauntlets, Stonewall gauntlets, stuff like that, but mm-hmm. I'd rather cut those cards and run other cards. So we're on the bare minimum, which is these equipment.
Cool, fair enough. Straightforward.
Then when I think about my deck, I like to start with the auras, so I get the 60 for the auras first, which is 3 Erudition, insane card, draws 2 with Dominate, absolutely nuts. Then Wartune Herald, it's a 1-cost Herald, insane. Triumph, probably next best Herald after that, turns off your opponent's 6-power poppers, really good. Protection, an extra value on hit, really good. Judgment, a lot more value when Zen and Aurora were around because the banish actually matters. Now that Zen and Aurora are gone, I'm actually quite low on this card, and it's probably one of the cards I'll cut. Good into Vinset. Like, if you care about Vinset, it's good into Vinset, but that's about the only matchup. Then 2 Ravages. I was on 3, but it brought the deck up to 61, so I cut it for a red. 2 Soul Shield. Again, I was on 3, but I wanted to find space for the 3rd. That all you got, so 2 Soul Shield. Then 5 Wraths. This is pretty standard. The whole deck is pretty standard. I was on 4, but I wanted another Wrath because I originally was on red Wraths. Don't like that card, bricks you too hard, but I wanted to up the Wrath count after removing them, so added the blues, now we're on 5. 2 Reprimands. I don't like Reprimand. It feels kind of conditional, but I'm too much of a coward to not play the card. It basically lets a Herald hit into your aura matchups, so they try and pop it, you reprimand, and then the Herald hits and you get to find the Figment, and that's basically your bread and butter into like Guardians and other big popper matchups. And then the blues, the Herald, so 3 Wartune, 3 Herald of Triumph, and 3 Herald of Protection. Mm-hmm. These are, in my opinion, the best Heralds, so you're running all of them in blue. Then blue auras, 3 passing mirages. I've seen some people go down to 2. I think that's a mistake. I think this card is completely nuts in the matchup where it's good, and I would not want to go down to 2. Yeah. And then 2 Pierce Reality. I've been thinking about going back up to 3 again. I cut 1 for the Blue Wrath after Kevin Murphy won the Battle Hardened Memphis. A lot of the choices in this deck are inspired by him. and I've liked this quite a lot. The two Pierce, two Wraths. This not being a light blue makes it a bit clunky sometimes in the Aura Plan. But if you want, you can go back up to 3. I've been thinking about it. Light of Soul is Light of Soul. It can sometimes high roll you and get you Soul and Angels. Really nice. Sometimes it bricks you because it doesn't block, but rather play it than not. Library card is completely nuts. In Aura, getting to draw 5, completely broken card. Yeah, I guess sometimes if you see it late, it can brick you, but if you see it early, some of the matchups just become free win. So, card's nuts. Then on to the Spectra. 3 Genesis. This card is a combo piece. It's one of the 2 cards you want to see when you're starting your ALS loop or you're making a pivot. You want to see Arclight Sentinel and a Genesis. And this basically sets you up for every turn after you've done your pivot turn. Really good. 3 Merciful card is also really, really good. It applies a lot of pressure to your opponents if they don't kill it. It also fuels your soul. Like, it does so many things. It's an aggressive piece, it's a game finisher, it's a setup piece. It's insane. Card is nuts. 3 ALS. This is basically how you combo people out of the game. This plus a Genesis, plus Rebirth. You can just keep bringing it back, putting it on top, and you just loot people out of the game, and then you kill them with a big Bologna. It's pretty good, and the way we beat some of the harder, the hard Herald matchups, so the ones that like to block a lot or have a lot of poppers, sometimes comes into aggro decks because you can Soraya, draw 2, ALS, protect the Soraya, and that basically locks up the game, but it can be a bit clunky in those decks, in those matchups. And then 2 Parable, this is tech from Kevin Murphy again. I was on 2 Warcry before, like a week before Pro Tour London, and that was for, or Calling London, and that was for Vincent, because I was having a really hard time in that matchup. But the card just didn't do anything in other matchups. It was completely dead, and this card is really good into Vincent, and is really good into other matchups. I was originally really low on it because I just thought, oh, it's a more expensive passing Mirage, but what it does on defense is actually a lot better than I thought. It turning 4s into 3s or 7s into 6 just means you can block out breakpoints. I've had games into Assassin where they can't kill your Angels because their 4s become 3s, so they can never just attack an Angel. Card has done a lot, and for some reason a lot of people don't kill it because it's not as flashy as Genesis or Merciful, but the card is still really good. And then I'm on 7 Figments, just the basics.
7 is the maximum, right?
There's
Or is-
8.
or yeah.
Tenacity is one that gives Dominate. I found that I didn't like it because giving your second Herald Dominate isn't great, because usually you'll attack with a Herald. If it hits, you get the Dominate one, then your next Herald gets Dominate. I don't really care if my second Herald has Dominate because the first one's already hit. Might consider it in the current meta with like Florian liking to block a lot and stuff. Dominate does become a bit better, but I think the card just still doesn't quite make the cut.
Okay.
So that's 60 for the auras. And then after I have the 60 for the auras, we've got the aggro cards. So we're on, again, the good heralds, so War-Tuned, Tenacity, and
Triumph.
Triumph and Protection. Those 9 are very standard, and you won't see a Prism list without those.
But these are only for aggro then? And
Yeah. I have run this red Triumph into some of the Aura plans. It can turn off 6s, which is really good into like Brutes. It can be good into like Florian, Vincent. The risk is it bricks you. Like if you draw it and it's a red, it can be bad, but I think it's sometimes worth the risk. But yeah, it depends on what if you like the risk or not. I quite like running it into some of the Aura games. And then one Tenacity. This was the third Ravages, but obviously because I had 60 in the Aura deck, I could turn it into a red Ravages. So this was red Ravages, and I was playing that again pretty much all the way up until Calling London, Calling London, and then people were starting to play Herald of Tenacity because Aurora was on Face Purgatory, and Tenacity, having Dominate, basically says I can keep a 4-card hand and basically play out the whole hand without having to worry about Face Purgatory.
Yeah.
Card is a lot better than I thought it was. I didn't like the Tenacity Heralds because they're like below where you want the rate to be, whereas Ravages is a 7 that gets another 1 on hit. But the Dominate has actually been a lot better than I thought, because a lot of the aggro decks don't have armor to give you. Like, I think Syndra, they have the boots, and that's about it. Or like Arachne has like 2 armor block to give you. So getting the first Herald to hit is actually really, really strong. So the card's been a lot better than I thought. Might still keep playing it now that Aurora's gone.
Okay.
And then read that all you got. I think this card is was really, really good. Aurora liked to attack with her weapon, so you just block with this, stop the 2 damage, draw a card. Really good into the assassins. You can just throw it in front of a dagger, like at bare minimum, or you can use it as a D-react if they try and pump. Card's really good, but now that like Aurora and Zen and like decks like that are gone and we're in a bit of a slower meta, the card does lose value. If you're worried about assassins, go ahead and keep like 2 copies in, maybe. I'd swap one of them for a Soul Shield, and then you can maybe play with 2 copies if you really care about the assassins, but I'm fine cutting them in the upcoming meta.
Okay.
And
that's
the
okay.
deck.
So this you won the ProQuest. I should have said at the start.
Yeah.
When Aurora was on her last weekend.
Yes, it was on the last week of Aurora.
So what changes would you make to the deck now that Aurora has left the format? We are about to hit a ban list as well.
Yeah.
So it's about to be a new format. But based on what we're kind of expecting, what you already know, what would you change about the deck going forward?
So if the format stays quite blocking heavy, quite defensive, a lot of kind of slower decks that you're going to basically be playing auras into, and that the issue I've been having into Guardians and Florian and stuff like that is that I can't actually get my Heralds to hit. So I'm fine getting Soul, because you have cards like Soul Shield, Merciful, they go into Soul, completely fine with that, but I never get the Figments out. So you're sitting on 4 or 5 Soul and no Figments to do anything with, which is really sad. So to fix that, I think we go up to 3 Tenacity. Again, this card is below rate, so I've not been a big fan of it before, but in the Spectra plan, you don't care about the cards being above rate, really. What you care about is getting Soul and getting Figments and developing your board, and this card helps you do that, basically.
Okay.
This card is also really, really good with Pierce Reality, so that's another reason why maybe you want to go up to 3 Pierce Reality. Card is good. I'd play the 3rd Ravages over Judgment. I think Judgment tanks a bit in value, just because Judgment was good into Zen, Judgment was good into Aurora because you could stop the Skizzix turn. But now that those decks aren't around, I think Judgment loses value. Again, I haven't tried into Vinset without Judgment. I'm not sure how much that matters, but depends if Vinset's around or not. This card is just much better into aggro. Again, it's 6 + 1 for 7 value. Card is good for. And then the 3rd Soul Shield. Go tall decks are more common. This guarantees to go into your Soul, so it's an extra Soul card for the slower decks. Card is really good. And then the new Herald just got spoiled as well. So I want to run 3. I think that card is really good. Again, as I was saying with the Tenacities, my problem has been getting a Herald into my Soul to tutor a Figment. And the card just does that. You have to play a 3-card hand, and it's a red, which can be a bit clunky. But for example, where is it? The reprimands, they kind of want you to play 3 card hands anyway. The celestial reprimands. They already want you to play a 3 card hand which has a yellow and a herald in it, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't guaranteed to get you soul, because if they have a D-react or something like that, it just gets blown out, and that can feel really, really bad. Whereas the new herald, you can attack with it, the card goes to soul beforehand, and you're guaranteed to get that soul, which is so strong. The thing about it being a red, it can brick you. I've never really had an issue bricking on reds when I was running the Triumphs in Auralists. Yeah, you can draw it when you're doing your loop turn, but you also could just draw more blues as well. Like, I haven't checked the math on it, but I've never had an issue with it. So I think, because I don't like reprimands, I'm probably going to cut the reprimands and try the new Herald at least. I think the other advantage of the Herald is you can run it in the aggro lists. I don't think it's for that, but there's a lot of matchups where I am just on reprimand into aggro because I don't have any other cards to put in.
Yeah.
So might as well replace it with a red Herald. Yeah, I think the card is really good and definitely worth trying out.
Fair enough, fair enough. Do you have anything else to say about the deck?
I think the deck is really, really fun. It can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. You have a lot of decision points, which is mainly the helmet. The helmet is like the big skill checker, but there's a lot of decision points in the deck, but it makes the deck so fun. You have something you can do pretty much at any point in the game. So if you haven't tried Prism, I would recommend trying Prism. Yeah, deck is insanely fun.
I have one more question for you.
Yep.
So with the new Herald and the new hat that's coming out in the LL Armory deck,
oh yeah,
do you think that could become a sideboard plan? So for people that don't know, the new hat, it'll be on the screen now. You can, with the new card, because you guarantee a charge, if you have ALS in your soul from like a Merciful or something, then you can get it out for free basically.
Yeah.
So do you think that is a viable strategy, swapping out Halo? I know you've just gone on about how much you love Halo, but...
I'll give it a shot. I'm not convinced by it. Yeah, you can get an ALS out. I think you can also attack with the new Herald, put an ALS and Soul off of the new Herald, because it doesn't... actually, maybe it does have to be a Herald. I think it's a yellow card, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think it has to be a Herald that goes in.
Yeah, so I think you can put ALS into Soul off of that.
It just doesn't trigger Prism.
Yeah, you're losing value on it. And then, ping yourself, get ALS. I think it's a bit clunky.
Okay, but too cute.
Yeah, obviously that hat is really good in old Prism. But I think Halo basically guarantees you can play ALS anyway, because you Halo, put a card in Soul for Vestige, draw a card, hope it's not Erudition, fingers crossed, get Soraya, draw 2, and then you have more than enough resources to play your ALS anyway.
Okay.
And it also just gives you more options. Like, I really like the fact that it's toolboxy. For example, like into Vinset, you can either get Soraya or you can get Judgment and turn something face down. Or, you can get Triumph and try and turn off a Pauper, or you can get Rebirth, or you can get Ravages and like even ping yourself. I think Halo is too good. Like the deck feels, or I think LSS said the deck was built around Halo. So just play Halo. I think Halo's really good. I'll try the card out, but I do think Halo is the way to go.
For the record, I think the other one also has Halo in its name, so we're meaning OG Halo.
OG
the
Halo.
One in this deck, not the new one.
Halo of Illumination. This one.
Yeah, that's the one he'll keep playing, guys.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Simon, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
Congratulations on the win again.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully the first of many, not at my expense, but someone else's. And if you've got any questions for him, feel free to leave a comment. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Deck link will be in the description as well. And have a good day, and thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.